and be joined by a four-time Super Bowl champion, one of the greatest football players in NFL history, Ronnie Lott. Welcome to Speak for Yourself. And let's start with a relatively easy question. They've made it almost illegal to tackle in the NFL, Ronnie. And I want to know, could Ronnie Lott be Ronnie Lott in today's NFL where you have to, ask a wide receiver for permission before you tackle him?
First of all, let me say this. I love the game. And not only do I love the game, I love the new rules. And the reason I love the new rules is that you have to go find a way to hit in a different spot. The question is, man, which I think, and Barry Bonds once told me this when they changed the strike zone. I said, Barry, what'd you do? He goes, I went to work. I went to work and to understand that the strike zone is different. I would go to work. And it's pretty simple when you think about going to work, man. And the idea of what we've seen here recently and watching, the Jordan, The Last Dance, he went to work. If you want to be a champion, you got to go to work, man. And one of the great things about hitting or about doing anything is that you got to find a new target. And I think one of the great things that we've seen so far is that guys have found a new way of attacking and getting after guys. So I enjoy the game. I still see some of them woo hits, and I still see some guys, hitting really hard. And so the sad part is we focus on the things that I'm yesterday's news. When you think about guys who played in the era I played.
You're not yesterday's news.
That's yesterday's news. Today, what we're looking at are guys that are, I just want you to know, they got guys right now that are phenomenal football players. And I have the utmost respect for how they go out and not only play the game, but how they perfect the game.
Let me ask you this, Ronnie. Pretend like we're off camera, and I want what you would tell me in private. Is Ronnie Lott the greatest defensive back of all time? We're not on camera.
Well, look, man, and I know this because I played three different positions, and those three different positions that I played, I tried to be the best. And the only reason I tried to be the best in those three different positions is that they gave me the opportunity and the privilege to try it. And so for me, I've always said this, you got to exhaust every moment. And that's all I was trying to do is exhaust every moment. But to say that I'm one of the best ever as a defensive back, hey, man, I'm very humbled by some of the people that have come before me and some of the people that will come after me. And I'm glad I'm in the conversation. I'm glad I'm in the conversation with Ed Reed. I'm glad I'm in the conversation with Deion Sanders. I'm glad I'm in the conversation with some of the guys that Rod Woodson. I'm glad I'm in the conversation. Kenny Easley, Kenny Easley, I'm glad I'm in the conversation because I have the ultimate respect for how he played the game. So there are some guys, Mel Blount. I can go down, I can go down the list and you start to realize Night Train Lane. You start to realize, there's some guys that you just want to sniff them because that's how good they were. That's how great they were. And so, yeah, all of those guys I mentioned.
I'm going to pass the baton. To Marcellus because you'll probably dodge my next question as well. But I just want to enter it into the record, Marcellus, before you change the topic. He's the only guy, Pro Bowl at three different positions. Corner, free safety, strong safety. Rod Woodson, I think maybe Pro Bowl at two positions. Maybe Charles Woodson as well, but no one else at three positions. One of the greatest defensive players, if not the greatest defensive player of all time. Marcellus.
Yeah. Well, thanks for passing it to a guy who struggled to make the Pro Bowl in just one position. And you know what? Damn it, I'm still proud of it. Hey, Ronnie, being real, man, respect to you, you're a living legend. But how much did you benefit going every day to practice against one of the most potent offenses the NFL has ever seen. Talking about Joe Montana, Jerry Rice, and the architect, the coach, and Bill Walsh.
Hey, man, to me, thinking of what you just said and knowing what you have to do against that group of guys every day, I tell people this, is that Jerry Rice, to me, is arguably our Michael Jordan. And if you watched him work every day from Monday through Saturday, and then, of course, on Sunday, we got him. We got them, we were watching him. But from Monday through Saturday, just like Michael, he did everything. I mean, everything that you could possibly do to be great. And not only great, but the competitor of him was, hey, man, I'm going to get you. And not only am I going to get you, but I'm going to work you every day. And so you're absolutely right, man. I benefited from Bill Walsh. I benefited from all of those guys. But more importantly, I benefited from my coaches, Ray Rhodes and George Seifert and those guys. And then in the secondary, man, we had an incredible secondary. Eric Wright, Carlton Williamson, Dwight Hicks. That secondary in '84 went to the Pro Bowl, all of us. I don't know if anybody's ever done that, but all of us went because we had that kind of, I'm going to get you or I'm going to top you, and somebody else would come back and say, wait a minute, no. I'm going to outdo you. And so we had that camaraderie and that competition, as you pointed out, within the locker room and within the group of guys.
Well, let's stick to that word competition, because everyone, including you, is hearing the GOAT conversation. Everyone's saying Tom Brady. But in the spirit of competition, where does Joe Montana land? Is he better? Is he the true GOAT?
So as I'm sitting here, I can tell you right now, man, Joe Money, it's hard for me to say that Tom Brady is better than Joe Money. And the reason why is that I just have watched so many times when I thought that there was no opportunity to win, that we ended up winning. And Joe Money is just one of those kind of guys that I'm always going to bet on, because there's something about the moment when you have to make it happen. I mean, obviously, Tom has done it time and time and time and time again as well. But he has also had the moments where it has cracked. And so when you got a guy like Joe, who has been in those situations where he didn't allow it to crack, I'm going with Joe Money.
Ronnie, I keep hearing you reference Michael Jordan. You watched the Last Dance documentary. I want to know, from your perspective as a football player and a guy that made his bones in the 80s, what do you think of Michael Jordan's leadership style? Some people saying he was a bully. How do you think you would have responded to that, or was that the same kind of culture you guys had in football in the 80s?
Hey, man, the one thing that do you know how hard it is to win? Do you really understand how hard it is to get 4? And by the way, we were trying to get 3 in a row. And I'm telling you, I'm still mad because we lost to the Giants. So winning is hard. And all Michael was saying to everybody, understand, even the greatest, it has to be such that you don't let nothing stay on the table. You got to eat it all. And that's one of the great things that we saw, is that he said, hey, Detroit, I got to get stronger. I got to work. They're killing me. They're bumping me. The fact is, we all have moments like that where somebody is bigger than you, stronger than you, and then you find a way. And that's to me, the beauty of all of it, man, to me, is that kind of leadership is, like he said, I want everybody to do what I can do. And I'm telling you, Jerry Rice would say the same thing. Joe Montana would say the same thing. Because those guys understand how hard it is to win. And winning for all of us is so tough, man. It is so tough. And to do what he was able to do, 3 in a row, back to back, yeah, I can smell it, man. That stuff is good. That is good. That's some good. That is an incredible smell. That is an incredible smell. And by the way, only he can say it. You know, only he can say what he's. And so there's something about that I marvel in it, because when I first met him, I just thought about not him, but the spirit of who he is, man. And I'm just, I admire his spirit. I admire his competition. But there are guys like that, like Larry and Magic, and we saw so many guys that have, and by the way, this hat I'm wearing is for a reason, because you got my boy Steph and Draymond, and you know, and that kid Michael's son, you know, and so you got some dogs right now up in San Francisco that will fight you, and they love playing. So I can't wait for them to get back on the court.
And Legend, let's talk about your passion. Saw you last at your award ceremony, Lott Impact Trophy Award. And let's just talk about your passion for counseling athletes and making that transition into the business world. You've had a successful transition, obviously, but talk about your passion and making sure the other guys can do as well.
You know, life is about how somebody says something to you to help you get better. There are many moments where somebody has whispered in my ear, like Deacon Jones, when I was a young kid, said, "Hey, man, be the best." Or Jim Brown whispering in my ear, "Man, you know, you can do this." Or Mean Joe Green. And my point is that you can go down the list of people giving you wisdom all the time. Even now, as you live the rest of your life, you got to find wisdom. And so one of the things that I've always said is, man, I've seen guys give me so much. I've seen guys that sat down with me and told me stories and shared with me the things that I should be doing in my life. Gene Washington sitting down, Jimmy Johnson sitting down with me. And you think about those guys, some of the greatest 49ers ever, but they would sit down and talk to me about the game, about life. And so it's important for all of us to take on that responsibility to make sure that we pass it forward, man. That is the greatest gift that we can give another human being, is ourselves.
Ronnie, thank you so much for taking the time. It was great to have you. Go Warriors, go 49ers, except when they play the Chiefs. All right, we got to keep it moving. Rick Bucher's around the corner.
Right.
We're going to get to the bottom of this whole pizza controversy and the Utah Jazz and Michael Jordan. Whose side you on, Michael Jordan?